Hello, and welcome to episode 88 of Let's Talk Immigration. Today, I need to start by talking to our DV 2020 and DV 2021 clients about the development this week from the Circuit Court of Appeals for the District Court of Columbia, for the District of Columbia. So basically, to recap where we were, we had one injunctive relief at the district courts, and actually summary judgment at the district courts, and the Biden administration appealed those victories to the Circuit Court of Appeals. We lost with the three-judge panel. They sided with the Biden administration against the immigrants, against our clients, and then we filed a petition for rehearing in bank with the full circuit so that all the judges could weigh in on that decision that was issued by the three-judge panel. What happened yesterday was the circuit court for like 11 judges issued a per curiam order where they didn't vote. They just said, this is what our decision is, where they are not going to rehear, they are not going to grant the petition, and they're not going to rehear the good luck case. So at the Circuit Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia, this case has died. It's over, okay? Some of you will ask, why don't we appeal it to the Supreme Court? Because technically you can always try that. The Supreme Court doesn't have to hear it, but you can try to go to the Supreme Court. The reason that we do not want to do that is because we would not have any chance of success with the current makeup of the Supreme Court. And it would be a great amount of work with little chance of success ever. It may take years, even if the court wanted to hear the case. And if they did hear it, they might just do something bad and worse. The current makeup of the Supreme Court is not one where you want to go in front of them to give decisions, because their decisions would not be good for anybody. Okay. So this is the end of the road for our DV 2020 and 2021 clients. I see James there. I don't know if hello, James. Believe it or not, James is who told me about the order, because he saw the notification before I did and he called me. So thank you for calling me, James. And thank you for your friendship through these crazy last 4 or 5 years. And that sentiment goes to all the DV 2020 and 2021 clients. The first plaintiffs we had in Muhammad, Fangjong, and Kennedy, and the Project Voyager clients, our clients that were plaintiffs in the Good Luck case, our Ray case, the Jacob case, who later became plaintiffs in Good Luck. There were a couple other plaintiffs that filed individual lawsuits that became plaintiffs in Good Luck. I just want to thank you all for trusting us to fight on your behalf. And I am very sorry and sad that the outcome was not what we hoped. Okay. For what it's worth, the effort did lead to many people getting visas, both in 2020 and 2021, actually thousands of people. But it's frustrating for those who didn't. Many of you are watching, and it's frustrating for me and our team, because we wanted to give the most amount of relief possible, because you were all wronged. When the Trump administration decided to pretend like the diversity visa program did not exist because of COVID, that was unlawful. It was a misinterpretation of law. Judge Mehta, Judge Chutkan both recognized that. And actually, the circuit court didn't disagree with that. All that the Circuit Court of Appeals disagreed with was the authority of the court to give the remedy that it gave. So if we had to do it over again, what Judge Mehta and Chutkan might do differently is they might be more demanding with the government defendants earlier in September, because they would know that there's nothing that they could do after. So, they could not preserve visas for beyond the end of the fiscal year. So that might be how things change going forward. In fact, I was in a status conference this morning on a DV 2024 lawsuit, and the judge seemed to understand that. She wanted answers from the government early on in the month, which is basically like the only way that we're going to be able to get relief for DV selectees is if judges take an approach where they ask the government questions. The government doesn't have to answer your questions or our questions, but they have to answer the judge's questions. So that's a recap of what happened. Many of you are going to ask, like, hey, I'm going to file an application for a non-immigrant visa, like a student visa or a visitor visa or an H-1B work visa. Do I need to list this good luck DV 2020, DV 2021? Do I need to list that as a prior application? My answer is the question's ambiguous because it asks on the DS-160, it says, has anyone petitioned for you? Technically, that's not what happens with the DV lottery. But since it's ambiguous, I think it's better to err on the side of being transparent and say, oh, I was a DV 2020 winner, but I wasn't issued a visa. Or I was a DV 2021 winner, but I wasn't issued a visa. It's never a good idea to keep information from a consular officer that they want to know. So your participation in the DV program or in the lawsuit does not stop you from being issued a non-immigrant visa either. There are many Mohammed Fong John Kennedy Good Luck clients, Gomez class members that are inside the U.S. Right now on student visas and work visas and tourist visas. Also, for those of you that are not completely exhausted, and I see Gary Latifi is definitely exhausted. For those of you who aren't, the new DV program, DV entries for DV 2026, it's going to be in about a month. That starts October 4th or 5th. Okay. I need to take questions. There's lots of other stuff I could talk about in the immigration world, but I want to be responsive and make sure I don't miss any questions here. Also, my computer's not working, so I'm doing this from my phone. So. Serge says hello. Hello, Serge. Richelieu says, thank you. It's been a long and fun ride, during which I learned lots about U.S. immigration law and systems, so I'll take that as at least something positive. Thank you and the whole team. Thank you, Richelieu. I actually learned a lot as well in this process. And the biggest lesson I took away from the diversity visa 2020 and 2021 litigation, I started to realize this a few years ago, but it was kind of amazing. And that is, when you go into Telegram groups, you have people from 120 different countries that were plaintiffs in Good Luck talking with each other and understanding the complaint and understanding the path forward and agreeing that, justice delayed is justice denied, and how it was unfair the way the State Department treated 212F refusals. A 212F ban as a visa issuance ban. And I mean, you had all these people from different cultures and religions and countries. Some of these countries are at war with each other right now, but you wouldn't know that in the Telegram groups, because we all had like a shared goal and shared values and knew what was right and wrong, and everybody got along. And it kind of made me think, what are these borders between countries even about anyway? You know, like maybe we shouldn't even have borders. Pretty crazy thinking, I know, but having thousands of clients now that have no problem getting along with each other, I wonder why these countries can't get along. Okay, I'm getting a little philosophical when I got questions I need to go to here. Nasima is sad, and as we all are. The Blue Sea says, so you don't want to put your effort and continue the fight. Correct. I do not want to be homeless and broke and do work that is futile, that does not have an outcome that would help you. Like there's maybe it's a 0% chance based upon the current makeup of the Supreme Court. Now, let's go there. Let's talk about what you're talking about like my effort and continue the fight. I would I would do the effort and continue to fight the Supreme Court. If somebody wants to volunteer and pay, like, I don't know, $50,000, because that's how much work it's going to be. Okay. Then we can move forward with an appeal, but it would be futile. Okay. The current justices of the Supreme Court are not going to sympathize with our arguments. So there's no reason to fight a battle that you know you're going to lose. Note that I wasn't the first, because the Gomez, actually Jim Hacking was the first attorney in DV 2020 that filed my competitor and a colleague filed the first lawsuit for diversity visa selectee in 2020. And I was the second, I guess, after Gomez. I was probably the third. But you will notice that there were thousands of immigration attorneys that all would not do this fight. And me and my team, Raphael, we stepped forward and we did this fight. And we gave, 4 or 5 years of our life to this fight. And so I don't think you're being fair there, saying, oh, you don't want to continue. I don't want to continue because it's futile. But if you want to throw money at me and have me do this fight that's futile, I can do it. Okay. Sam Matcha says, thanks. Thank you. Hassan says, hi, dear Curtis. First, a full thanks for everything. That was the longest pathway that we lost. All lawyers make the best. Big thanks. Thank you, Hassan. I appreciate your warm words. As always, you've always had kindness to in your messages and comments. It was a long path. Who would think that you win the DV lottery and then it puts you on this path of 5 or 6 years? Pretty crazy. Okay, Nikki says, I received my visa and I'm so blessed and thankful to you. I was one of the lucky ones through the Mohammed case, DV 2020. Thank you for your comment, Nikki. I'm happy for you and I'm happy that you're in the U.S. Just don't forget about the people back home. Let's keep them in our thoughts because they're not as fortunate. But it is nice of you to stop by and say thank you. Okay. The Blue Sea says, I don't think you as lawyers put in the proper effort in representing you as clients. Okay. I respect that you don't think that. I disagree, but okay. Harar says, and then they come to tell us that America is a country of law and justice. What a scandal. Well, I would say that America is not perfect. Okay. It's a young country, only 250 years old. We're still working on things. We're still trying to figure stuff out. And then I'm going to skip these comments from Gary because he's a little bit more disillusioned. There's young people watching this video. Okay. Aurora says, thank you, Curtis, for your work and effort. For everyone, DV 2020, you're welcome. Patrick Jones. Evening, Curtis. Got approved for my visa for F2A on the 31st. July, U.S. Embassy Dakar, Senegal. Filed I-130 in May 2021. Almost 3 years of waiting. Congratulations, Patrick Jones. It's pretty crazy that it took 3 years for a spouse or child of a U.S. citizen, of a green card holder, to get a visa, but I know F2As have been waiting even longer. So be grateful that you've got it wrapped up, and safe travels. Moret says save DV20 in 2021. Well, Moret, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Right now, that would take an act of Congress, and there's no political will in Congress for that to happen. I actually spoke with Bruce Morrison, who lobbied on our behalf in the past to get Congress to introduce bills, and he confirmed that there's no political will for this. Like we would just be spinning our wheels. So DV 2020 and 2021, we just have to look to the future. Okay. Provine says, approach any private or such related firm to sponsor free job to assist DV 2021. This would create positive and progressive perception toward the U.S. I wish I had a company, and I would do everything I could to give an alternative immigration path to DV 2020 and 2021 selectees. When I say a company, I mean like Amazon or Microsoft or something. But I don't. I just have a small law firm. Actually, I have 2 law firms, Morrison Arena, which we're winding down, and my new law firm, Ready Go Law. Raphael also has a new law firm as well. But what I'm saying is, with a small law firm, we can't solve these problems. I would agree that somebody like Bill Gates or Elon Musk could solve these problems, but he's not aware. They're not aware of the situation. So if you find somebody that owns a big company in the U.S. that can afford to do employment visa petitioning, send them my way. We'll set them up and see if we could make that happen. But I just, it's sort of a dream. Okay. Julie says, I wish some people would understand that entering a lawsuit doesn't always mean you will win. The people being angry at you are so senseless. As for me, thank you so much for what you've done for me and my family. It's been almost 4 years since we got in, and we couldn't have made it without you and your team. Thank you very much, Julie. I'm happy that you are here and happy. And thanks for coming by and making your comment. Hendrik says, what about B1, B2 visa application as a Kennedy plaintiff? That's completely possible. I understand these applications do not honor an immigration lawyer to be involved. Is that right? Okay, you've probably heard that from me, because often when people come to me and say, can I use you as my immigration attorney for a B1, B2 visa, I point out that a B1, B2 visa is not an immigration visa. It is a visitor visa. And you do not want to send the message to the consular officer that you are immigrating, because that's the one thing that the consular officer has to determine for you to get the visa, that you are not immigrating, right? So I don't represent B1, B2 applicants with their underlying application. However, I have started representing them when they've applied and they go into administrative processing and don't get an answer, because that's just not right. So we will file a mandamus lawsuit for unreasonably delayed B1, B2 adjudications, but that's not what you asked. Yeah, I don't recommend a lawyer. The DS-160 is a very straightforward form. Like, it's online. You go there, you click DS-160. The questions that ask are very simple. The only one that might be a little cause you pause is that question that I referenced earlier in the live about how, have you been petitioned by someone before? And the DV lottery technically is not a petition process, so it's an ambiguous question in that context. But I encourage people to err on the side of safety and just disclose, I was DV selectee, but was not issued a visa. Okay. On the DS-160, make sure that you are consistent and accurate with all of your answers. When I say consistent with what you said before in your prior DS-260, because the State Department takes your credibility very seriously. Like, they want people to tell them the truth. And when people don't tell them the truth, that things go really bad. So just be careful about that. Okay. The Blue C. At first, you combined clients from several cases into one case and held them represented by several lawyers from different offices, which scattered the effort, and I do not think that you were serious about representing us properly. Okay. I don't tell from your question whether or not you were a Muhammad, Fong, John Kennedy, Jacob, or Good Luck plaintiff or Ray plaintiff. But I will say that the times that we had outside counsel help us, like my colleague Abadir Barre in New York, it was because he was an expert and we needed a strong legal team. I mean, Morrison Arena had great attorneys, but we needed the best to do what we did. And actually what we did was sort of incredible. It was the first time that federal judges had ever reserved visas beyond the fiscal year. There was something in 2017 where Judge Chutkan did it, but it was a different situation procedurally. But it was sort of amazing. It was the first time injunctive relief had been granted to 24,000 plaintiffs in a lawsuit. So it's it took the best to do what we did, and it still wasn't enough for many of you, and I understand that. Okay. I've lost my, there we go. Salomon says, thank you for all the things new. I'm looking for an EB2 visa. Is it worth it? And are you working with that? What I recommend that you do if you are seeking an EB2 visa, whether it's a EB2 with employer sponsor or an EB2 NIW, where it's national interest waiver, where you petition yourself, is you use an immigration attorney who does nothing but that. Okay. We don't do a lot of these. So they're not our expertise, and we recommend people use somebody that does this day in, day out, that does 2 or 3 of these a day, right? So me personally, no, I don't do those. I could give you, if you email me, I can give you some names of some other people that handle them. My specialty is unreasonable delay. Immigration delay that's been unreasonable, I go to court. That's what I like to do. Okay. The Blue C says, there will be refund? No. Just in case says, immigration cannot be changed through lawsuits, but lawsuits push the State Department to work better for others. Well, immigration can be changed through lawsuits. And it is changed. In fact, if you go back to 2020, Judge Mehta's September 4th, 2020 order, the State Department was issuing 0 DVs. They weren't issuing any DVs, and he ordered them to take good faith efforts to adjudicate DV applications and prioritize our plaintiffs. Like, that was a judge's order, okay? And so the judge's order did change the law, and it sort of turned on the faucet. And it wasn't the State Department deciding it. The judge decided it for them, okay? The same thing happened in 2021, although it was a little different. Okay. Federal judges have a lot of power. It's just not, it's not like God. Like they are limited. Federal courts are courts of limited jurisdiction, is what they tell us in law school. Okay, so even though judges are very powerful, they can't always do what we want. Okay. I'm very sad 4 years from Algeria. I understand. Okay. The Blue C wants to talk about all the revenue that we had, but the Blue C doesn't want to talk about the expenses. The Blue Sea doesn't want to talk about the 60 paralegals we had working for us during 2021. Okay, I think I'm back. I wonder if you can hear me. I'm hoping you can hear me. Sorry about that. Like I said, we've lost the internet here, and I'm using this from my phone. James says, is this the last Let's Talk Immigration? No, but there is going to be a change. This show is going to be imported to my new law firm. Okay, so my new law firm is Red Eagle Law LC, and episode 88, which is this episode, will be the last episode of Let's Talk Immigration under the Morrison Urena umbrella. From now on, this show will be under same time, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that it will be broadcast by Red Eagle Law. Okay. Great question. Thank you for that. Hassan says, if Democrats win in this election, can we make new movement like Project Voyager for new law for unused visas? Or is it unrealistic? In my view, it is unrealistic. Okay. I am not a lawyer, and I am sad for DV 2020 and 2021. I am also sad for DV 2020 and 2021. Aurora says, can you tell us when the next date for participation in DV 2026 is? And is Good Luck Affair over? Good Luck Affair is over. I think usually it's October 3rd or October 4th. So it's actually 1 month from today is when the DV entries will be available again. Let me stress, while people are talking about DV 2026, please review the instructions before you submit your entry. Also, if you have access to internet and good language skills, submit this yourself and do not use an internet cafe, because over and over we see people denied a visa because there's mistakes on their entry. Mistakes on your entry are fatal. So you want to make your entry yourself if you can, if it's possible. I realize it's not always possible. Safi says, thank you, everybody, even thanking the lawyers. It has been a long and tiring journey. That's true. I hope I'm not missing any message here. Hassan says, how are you? I am good. I just spent a few weeks off on vacation. I was hoping to come back to better news than this. Really miss you. I wish you full health. Yes, I have my health, so that's good. We're still waiting for the positive things. Okay, well, I'm hoping for positive things too, but they're not going to come for DV 2020, 2021. They're going to come for other things. Do I think Trump will change immigration in case he will win the elections? If Trump is elected, things will go very badly. Yes, I am very scared of that. But I'm also hopeful that he will not be elected. In my view, Vice President Kamala Harris is not perfect, but she's a very strong candidate, a very smart campaigner. Okay. She's actually shifting some of the money that she's collected to the down ballot races. What that means is she's trying to not only get elected, but get elected with a Congress, a House, and a Senate that can actually implement her programs, which is huge. Like, a president has not done that modernly, where they have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and they get stuff done. That doesn't happen very often. And she's got her eyes on the ball, and so I'm impressed with that. I just hope she spends a lot of time in Pennsylvania. She has to win Pennsylvania. She spends a lot of time in the battleground states because that's what matters. So anyway, I don't know who's going to win. I'm not good at predicting elections, but I just hope it's not Trump. Free Voice says, thanks, Mr. Morrison. Thank you, Free Voice. Okay. That looks like all the questions, unless I missed one. I'll do a quick skim. If you have a question and I didn't answer it, you can always hit me up on Telegram or WhatsApp. Sometimes I'm a couple days behind answering WhatsApp and Telegram messages, but I get to them. There's only been one time in July and August of 2021 when we were on board in Good Luck that I got behind for like a month behind in Telegram messages and WhatsApp messages. But generally, I'm never more than 2 or 3 days behind, and I will answer your question. Okay. So thank you for being here for these 88 episodes. I hope to see you over on my new channel, Red Eagle Law LC. If ever you need immigration assistance in the future, don't feel bad about reaching out to us. Okay. Raphael has his own law firm now in New York, and I've got Ready Go Law in California. Reaching out to us directly at those firms is the best way to reach us. Okay. Here's the link to the new channel. I can't put that here because this is Morrison Arena, and I'm not supposed to. I don't know. Red Eagle Law. If you type that in to YouTube, you'll find it. So, and that's it. Hoda Hafez. Adios. I wish I. Assalamu alaikum. Au revoir. This is sad. I'll miss you all. One last thing. Thank you, Robert, for your appreciation. Okay. Signing off.